Hello and welcome. You're listening to the Tasty Tidbits podcast. Get ready to receive rich, well-seasoned, and tasteful tidbits to transform your life. Each week, Dr. Tiffany comes to you with inspirational encouragement and thought-provoking interviews to help revolutionize your walk with God. Are you hungry for more of His presence? Then get ready. And now, your host, author, intuitive life coach, and pastor, Dr. Tiffany Watkins.
Hello, everyone, and welcome again to Tasty Tidbits. I am your host, Dr. Tiffany Watkins, and I'm excited to have you here on another episode. And today I'm excited to talk about something today that I know that is an important topic, and that's talking about how intentional courtship builds healthier relationships. And that is so important. And I'm interested in talking with my special guest today, Jeremy, just to get into a little bit more about what intentional courtship is. And so we're going to introduce him, and then we're going to go ahead and get started. And so my special guest today is Jeremy Nelson, and he is the founder of marryingamerica.com, which is a new platform, a new dating platform built for people who are done with endless swiping and ready for something real. Marrying America focuses on intentional, meaningful connections between singles who actually want long-term love. So thank you for being a part, Jeremy. How are you?
I am well, Dr. Tiffany. Thanks for having me. I look forward to the upcoming conversation.
Yes. Let me get a little tea.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, so we can spill something.
I know. Get a little bit of tea here. But thank you for being a part today. We're going to talk about intentional courtships. And this is so important. Can you explain to the listeners what intentional courtship is and, how it's different from the fast-paced convenience dating that we have today?
All right. Here's the problem that we have today, okay? Is that we have gone to a place in dating where it's all casual because people can afford to be casual. In generations past, historically, relationships have always been about survival as much as anything else. In times gone by, we needed each other to survive, not just to get through life, but to survive life. So, we had to be far more intentional back then than we do today. Today, a relationship is more of a want than a need. So that has allowed us to become far too selective, far too picky, far too unintentional in our approach to relationships. And what we're trying to do is get people who want that, meaning who want a committed relationship. We're trying to create an environment where we can bring these like-minded people together so that they can pursue, a committed relationship together. Mm-hmm. So, that's where we're trying to go with this.
Okay. And what is intentional courtship?
Intentional courtship is when you have a desired outcome, mm-hmm. which in our case is to be in a committed long-term relationship, aka marriage. Mm-hmm. And you are intentional about trying to get to that destination. So that's what a committed, courtship mm-hmm. to us is. Intentional courtship is I have a desired outcome, which is a long-term healthy relationship, and I am willing to take the necessary steps to make that happen.
Okay. So now what does it practically look like to slow down, in modern dating, and why is this so important for emotional and spiritual health?
The reason why it's absolutely critical, Dr. Tiffany, is because the hookup culture that so many of us are exposed to nowadays, it's leading everybody to seeking therapy. Okay, one has everything to do with the other, in my opinion. No, I'm mm-hmm. not. I'm no doctor, but I mean, mm-hmm. common sense tells me that in the absence of a healthy relationship, okay, you end up on your therapist's couch. Okay, and mm-hmm. I think that is what is materially affecting a lot of us in this current environment and dispensation, is that we do not have that stable, healthy, significant other relationship, and it's literally and figuratively driving us crazy. So that is why it is imperative. I don't think people appreciate how critical healthy relationships are until they don't have them, and they end up in a bad place emotionally and mentally. So, it's easy to discount and listen to these influencers who say, oh, you don't need a man, you don't need a woman, you don't need a relationship. Complete, total, and complete nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
It is
Mm-hmm.
necessary now more than ever, or as necessary now as it has ever been.
Mm-hmm. And so, just looking at what you are embarking upon with your dating platform, um, when you go through your platform, I'm sure there are, different questions and information about getting to that compatibility with that partner. So, what are some things that you think makes compatibility with the individuals that they're seeking to be out in order to have an intentional relationship?
First order of business is, if you desire a certain outcome, meaning if you desire marriage, you have to date people who also want to get married. It
Mm-hmm.
makes no sense to get
Mm-hmm.
involved in a relationship with somebody, no matter how much you like them, they like you both like each other. It does not matter if one of the parties does not want to get married. So the first order of business is, does this person want what I want? And if you
Mm-hmm.
can answer that question in the affirmative, then you move to the next phase up, which is compatibility. In my humble opinion, in order to make a relationship sustain, you have to be compatible. Selection process is critical to sustaining a long-term relationship. You have got to get the selection correct. I mean, it's no different than if you're hiring for a position, if you're drafting a quarterback. I mean, no matter what you're selecting for, if you get the selection correct, you are going to be an all-star. You're going to be a winner. You're going to be successful. If you get the selection wrong, you're going to be miserable. It's going to come back to bite you in the derriere. So selection is critical after you have established that we both want the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the two, main ingredients, in my opinion, that go into getting you to where you want to be, if that is a long-term, healthy relationship and marriage.
Mm-hmm. So, what do you believe is important to do as far as, marrying in America? Because we see that a lot of people are veering away from marriage and wanting to stay single, but I do believe as well that it's beneficial um, to have that partner, that lifelong partner that you desire to be with, and to be married. But, like in the news or in TV, just in entertainment. We see a lot of things about, us being our own individual person, and nothing's wrong with that. But I believe that, marriage has been downgraded in a lot of ways and seen as negative, in in certain cultures. Can you speak to that a little bit more, Jeremy?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, I think too many of us have, we're starting to drink or have drunk the Kool-Aid. We have been led to believe that we're just as healthy being single as we would be in a relationship. I call BS. There's nothing that could be further from the truth. What it is that people are deluding themselves into believing I am just as happy single as I would be in a relationship, because their selection process has been flawed. They have not been dating, they have not been engaging with people who want the same thing they want. They are attracted to the attractive guy or the attractive girl. Guess what? They don't want a relationship. They just want to smash. So
Mm-hmm.
of course it's
Mm-hmm.
not going to work out. If that's
Mm-hmm.
the kind of person that you're attracted to and the kind of person you want to date, clearly that's not going to work, because that's not what they want. Look, we just want to hook up. So, and until people realize that they have to take responsibility for the types of people they choose to date, they will always have the same outcome. So people get attracted to a type. I have a certain type. If he's not 6 feet, if he doesn't have big, strong muscles, if he doesn't have six figures, fine. They talk to those guys, they date those guys, they get smashed, they get kicked to the curb, and then they go, wow, life is unfair. No, 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 no. Life is not unfair. This guy essentially told you upfront, I am not interested in a long-term relationship. But you decided to push it. And guess what? You got your feelings hurt. So, I mean, I think people, they want what they've always wanted, which is a committed relationship. They just have been deluded into think that they have unlimited choices. They don't. I mean, in anybody's given lifetime, you may have 2 or 3 guys that come into your life who legitimately would be interested in spending the rest of their lives with you. The rest of them just want to smash. That's it. So, individually, we have to take accountability for who are these guys that we're meeting who genuinely want to be with me for the rest of our lives. And unfortunately, most of the time, it's not the 6 foot tall guy. It's not the six-figure bank account guy. It's not the whatever their ideal guy is. Typically, it's not that. And they don't want to recognize. See, what we fail to realize, Tiffany, is that people have settled throughout human history. Okay? People have settled. Okay. I mean, you had 17-year-olds that would marry 42-year-olds. Okay. I mean, you had peasant girls who would marry, a guy from the manor, right? Even though she wasn't attracted to him. I mean, so you have arranged marriages to this day in many cultures. Okay. I mean, you wouldn't necessarily pick that partner, but your parents get to pick for you. So, this concept of I get to decide, I get to choose, I have unlimited options. This is something that's new, and it's proving to be very dangerous because people cannot pick for themselves. The results speak to that. Okay. People have a hard time. I mean, most of our grandparents and great grandparents, they didn't get married because it was love at first sight. It wasn't because that was the hottest guy on the block. It wasn't because, I mean, she was the cutest girl, in town. No, it's two people who came from similar backgrounds who wanted a similar outcome. I mean, her ears might have been bigger than I would have liked. Her nose might have been bigger than I would have wanted. Her lips might not have been as fat as I'd like them. But guess what? You recognize that these are the sacrifices you have to make. I mean, she came from a decent family. She wants the same things I want. She has enough to work with. Let's make it happen. So we've always settled. We've always, throughout history, we've always settled. But this generation, or right now, we feel like we don't have to settle, which is delusional. And that's where we are. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. And while you were talking, I was just thinking, and when you were talking about settling, and even with what you're saying is really settling when you're actually getting what you desire, when you actually be with who you're supposed to be with, because
exactly
you're getting what your heart desires and what you both are determined to go towards. Like you said earlier, if I desire someone that's wholesome, someone that's in, they don't have to have all of this, but we can make it together, like you said, the old folks did. And then generally you're going to be happy. You don't have to have all the drama and all of the, of what everybody else says you should have. But are you on common ground to getting towards your common goal? And when you do that, it's not settling, it's actually being in alignment with what you're supposed to be, who you're supposed to be with.
Thank you. Well said. Exactly. You are now in alignment with where you should be. But people don't know anymore what true alignment looks like. You know what I mean? They think it's a girl with a BBL. They think it's a girl with, triple D's. No, that's not true alignment. No.
Right.
No.
Right.
No. So we've gotten confused. As to what true alignment looks like. And and what we're trying to do is get people back to a space or to create a space where if you're looking for somebody to truly align with, you first have to start with somebody who wants to be truly aligned with you. Okay. And then after you make that connection, you can then decide, is this somebody I'm willing to pour into with the expectation that we're going to have the outcome that we both desire?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But that's where it has to start. It has to start with somebody who wants the same thing that you want. It's easier that way.
Mm-hmm. And that's what your platform does. It gets that alignment when you are able to go on there. It helps you to see that alignment and give you the choices. Like you said, it may not be unlimited choices because it won't be, but it
No,
can kind of help you to see that alignment with what you would like to have in a partner.
exactly. And what it also does, Tiffany, it exposes you to people who want the same thing that you want, which
Mm-hmm.
is long-term relationship, aka marriage. Okay. If you
Mm-hmm.
start with that pool, okay, they want the same thing I want, then you're getting off on the same footing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
now you have to do the courting, you have to put the work in to see whether or not we are truly aligned such that we can take it the distance. But you have to start there. You have to start with somebody who wants what you want.
Mm-hmm.
It makes
Mm-hmm.
no sense. Otherwise, the platform is not for everybody. I mean, if you just want to be a F boy, if you just want to, have one night stands, if you just want to be, if you love the hookup culture, I mean, if you like dating random people, then no, it's not for you. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But if you're sick of all of that and you don't
Mm-hmm.
want to find your person, you know, this is where you need to be, marinamerica.com, but be advised. I mean, you're not going to see 6'5" guys, with six packs and broad backs. I mean, no,
Mm-hmm.
because those guys have no interest in being married by and large.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
these alpha guys, no. I mean, no, you're asking for problems if you think that's where you're going to find. No. I mean, are they going to be presentable? Yes. Are they going to have ambition and trying to make life? Yes. I mean, but this notion that you're going to be, the prettiest guy I ever saw or the cutest girl that ever lived, no, we can disabuse ourselves of that. Because guess what? Most of us are married to people who are not the most handsome guy ever. I mean, we're not married to any Miss Americas, generally speaking. I mean, we're married to attractive enough people who love us for who we are,
Mm-hmm.
and they engage in those acts of love on a consistent, ongoing basis.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's what most of us end up with.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Which is appropriate, and which is necessary and which is needed, and that's why I was want to ask you,
Precisely.
why do you believe, and do you believe that a slower, more intentional approach to dating leads to healthier, long-term relationships?
Because people value what they have to invest in. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's just as simple as that. If I don't
Mm-hmm.
have to pour any energy into you, I'm not going to value you.
That's so good. That's so good. Say that
Just
again,
that simple.
Jeremy. Yeah, that is so good.
People only value what they have to invest in. It's just
Mm-hmm.
that simple. There's a big difference between giving your kid a car and a kid buying a car for themselves. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, might be the exact same car, but they treat it differently. I mean, it's like a rental versus you owning the car. I mean, by and large, we're going to take far better care of the car that we're paying for as opposed to the car that we're renting that we're going to turn back in 2 weeks. So that is just human nature. We can't get away from it. You're generally going to take better care of a property that you own versus a property that you're renting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's just human nature. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we can't get away from that. So, we have to start off with being owners, right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
Mm-hmm.
because that's where the mindset comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Once you have the mindset of an owner, meaning that I'm looking to for a long-term proposition here, you're going
Mm-hmm.
to approach it completely differently.
Mm-hmm.
Completely differently.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? So that's where we want to get the mindset right. We're looking for people who want to become owners. Okay, meaning married.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you want to be a part-time renter, then you need to go to Tinder because that's what they
Right.
specialize in. Okay, if
Mm-hmm.
that's what you want, then that's where you go. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
but so we've been very deliberate in how we have designed the platform, to facilitate, ownership decisions and to give people a space where they can come together and make it happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. So, there are those that are listening right now.
Hmm.
Kind of let them know what are some practical steps that they can take right now to date with purpose and honor their, mental and emotional well-being.
The first step that I would advise anybody to take to honor where they're trying to go, because it all depends on what your destination is. If you're into casual, then I guess you can pretty much do anything. You can go to a club, you can go to a bar, if casual is your thing, then that's your thing. No judgment, no problem. But if you want something more substantial than casual, then you're gonna have to go where people who are looking for that are also hanging out. Okay? I mean, you have to start there. You have to be around like-minded people. It doesn't get any less complicated than that. I mean, if you it is it's no different than if you're recruiting for, if you're recruiting for a basketball team, you're not going to go to a football game. I mean, you're not
Mm-hmm.
going to go
Mm-hmm.
watch football players. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it wouldn't make any
Mm-hmm.
sense. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Because you
Mm-hmm.
know what? So you got to go where your target market, your target audience is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now these other dating apps, look, I mean, they work. Why do? Because I know people who have gotten married
Mm-hmm.
off of these dating apps, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a tough slog because you don't know what you're going to run into. You don't know, am I going to run into a guy who just wants to hook up? Am I going to run into a guy who just wants a situationship? Am I going to run into somebody who, yes, we like each other, but he has no intention of ever getting married? I mean, you don't know what you're going to run into. Okay. Um, on our platform, we discourage anybody who does not want to be married to not be on our platform. Okay. We want people who want to be married and who are intentional about putting in the work to making that happen. And we've done some things to facilitate that. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
instance, we only allow people to select 5 people to match with every month. So you can't send out 52 likes on a Saturday night. I mean, you can't come home from the office on a Wednesday afternoon and decide to match with 30 people or send match requests to 30 people. No, we don't do that. You get to send 5 every single month. So what's going to happen, Tiffany, is when you get a match request from somebody, if you get a match request from me, you know that you are one of no more than 5 people that I could send a match request to in this month of December. So you're going to evaluate my profile a lot more carefully, I believe, than you otherwise would. You're going to go, wow, this guy must really think I'm something because he's spending one of his 5 match requests on me. And not only am I sending a match request, I am investing a credit in doing so. And these credits aren't free. So, when you get a match request, not only are you no more than one of 5, but I am financially invested in sending that match request because if you accept it, that match request that credit just got spent. And I will know if you accept the match request, it's going to cost you a credit. So when you accept my match request, I know that you're serious.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
On these other platforms, you'll get a match request. The other person will accept it, but you have no idea if they're serious.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They could just be bored and they go, "Oh, hey, Tiffany matched with me. Let me send her. Let me match with her. You know what I mean? Just because I'm bored. You know what I mean? I have nothing better to do. So you don't know how sincere I am,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and that's why so many people get ghosted and people, they disappear on people because guess what? You have no clue as to why I matched with you. But
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
on our platform, you don't have that problem because everybody's going to be financially committed to that match.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And everybody's going to know that it's very selective, that I
Mm-hmm.
am no more than one of 5. So, people are going to be far more intentional in terms of how they review or view people's profiles, because there's nothing, again, in order to get a relationship started, it's best if you like people who like you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It just works better that way. All right.
Right.
On our platform, we like to think of it as people liking each other from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because you're vested in it. They have skin in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But I mean, if you're trying to, date somebody who doesn't really like you, then, it's going to be an uphill struggle. You know what I mean? But once I've spent money on you and you've spent money on me, I like to think that a lot of the friction, a lot of the friction points are going to go away,
Mm-hmm.
because we're invested in each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And, we're financially committed to making it work. And then now we're going to put in the effort and see if, we really are compatible. And I mean, and can we get to that final destination, which is a long-term relationship? That's what the platform is all about. And that's what this society needs, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's become far too easy to hook up with people.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is accepting, that, hey, here today, gone tomorrow. It's become a dangerous cycle that we've gotten trapped in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? You're going into relationships knowing that, okay, I don't know if it's going to last 2 weeks or 2 months, but I know it's not going to last 2 years. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? It's just a matter of, you're counting the days until it's over. That's no way to start a relationship. Counting down the days till it's over. I mean, and it's going to be 2 weeks or 2 months. No, no, that's
Mm-hmm.
that's a crappy way to get into a relationship and try to be serious with it. So I mean, we're trying to help the folks out here who want it, to give them a better place, um, to meet their person and to have that person. And Valentine's Day is only 2 months away. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's only 2 months. So I mean, I'm trying to get everybody who wants it, a Valentine come,
Mm-hmm.
February of next year. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's the mission in life. Right.
Yes, and and it holds the ones that are participating accountable. Like you said, it holds a little more of accountability. Again, like you said, having the skin in the game. I was just sharing with some people the other day at church. We can do a lot of talking, but once you finish talking, you have to put skin in the game. You have to put your money where your mouth is. You have to put your feet with what you're talking about. and
Exactly.
and it's the same thing in relationships. You have to be invested, and in this day, season, and time, a lot of people don't want to be invested. They want it quick, fast, and in a hurry, or just go on to the next one because they believe they have so many other options. And
No, let me say this, Tiffany. I mean, I think people do want to be vested. I think the problem is they're not finding the person who is worthy of that investment.
okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
people they're meeting are not the people who are worthy of them investing in. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a real disconnect. I would posit that the vast majority of men and women, they do want to be vested in somebody. It's
Mm-hmm.
just that, the guys who come up to them at the supermarket or wherever they meet them in the wild, those guys don't want to be vested. They just
Mm-hmm.
want to
Mm-hmm.
they just want to have a good time. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The guys who would be willing to invest and be vested, they're not gonna come up to you in the supermarket. They don't have
Mm-hmm.
that kind of game. They don't have that kind of confidence. I mean, these guys are gonna have to meet them on a church bus. But guess what? They don't go to church anymore.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I mean, I would say the vast majority of men and women out there, when
Mm-hmm.
I say majority, I mean 60, 70%. They
Mm-hmm.
legitimately want to be in that relationship, but they're not running into like-minded people. They're just
Mm-hmm.
not. You know what I mean? Because the circles that they move in different circles, right?
Right, right, right.
And nobody goes outside and socializes like they used to.
That's
You know,
true. That's
everybody's
true.
inside gaming, and doing something on social media, doing some, working from home. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So I mean, they're not
Mm-hmm.
even in the office anymore. I mean, so no, I think the vast majority of people out here, they do want to be in that kind of relationship. They're just not finding the person who wants to be in it with them.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's what we're trying to solve for, is to bring people together who truly want the same thing and to give them a platform where they can meet each other and see what happens.
We're good. I was, I think about some of the dating apps that I've seen,
Mhm.
over the past, and I've seen far and few. I've seen a couple that the same kind of mindset as to where they're looking for long-term relationships, but for yours it specifically says for marriage, um
Absolutely.
which singles you out even more, I believe, because you're focused on that. So how do you decipher between the ones, and I know you said you had some of the things on there that where you're able to do it, but what would you say to those that are kind of skeptical about even going on online dating?
What I'd say to them, Tiffany, is that in this day and age, the only place to really meet people is online.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You're not going to meet them at the grocery store. You're not going to meet them at the supermarket. You're not going to meet them, walking your dog at the park. Does it happen? Yes. Are your odds good? No. Unfortunately, the world that we're operating in now, where everybody's inside, nobody's socializing like they used to, the only place to really meet people at scale is online. So the only question becomes, which online site do I join? Which online site do I participate in? And you'll hear people saying, I swear off a Hinge, I swear off a Bumble, because why? They've had bad experiences. Because they want a certain outcome. The people they are matching with desire a different outcome. So of course you're gonna have a bad experience. But no, to answer the question, more succinctly, online is the only place to meet people at scale. So I would tell anybody who has ever been on an online website, who has any interest in meeting somebody, is to get on Marry in America. Why? Because it's absolutely free and you get your first match credit for free. So you have 100% access to 100% of everything and everybody. Your first match, and if you're lucky, you'll only need one match. If you're lucky, that first match is on us. But you're going to be in a community of like-minded people who want the same thing that you want. Everybody's going to be vested in making it work because, again, they are limited in the number of people that they can attempt to match with in any given month. Of course, you know, you could be on the site and you could get 15 match requests in any given month and you could accept all 15. So you're not limited in the amount of match requests that you can accept. If you happen to be, that girl and you get 30 match requests, hey, you might like 25 of them. No problem. You can match every single one of them. You just can't send more than 5 match requests, but you can receive and accept unlimited match requests. So the whole key to it is you have to be amongst people who want the same thing, and once we get that critical mass of people who want the same thing, I think we're going to be in a much better place from day one in terms of forging long-term sustainable relationships. Because again, it all comes back to, do I want it? And if they want it, they'll work hard to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's just as simple as that.
Mm-hmm. Well, before we go, Jeremy, do you have any promising stories for us from your website?
No, but we're working on them. I'm telling you. I mean, thanks. I mean, Valentine's is 2 months from now. I
Right.
mean, if we get your listeners on here, if we get, them to share with their social media, people, and we get that cohort, I mean, I am confident come
Mm-hmm.
Valentine's Day next year, there's going to be a whole slew of people who
Mm-hmm.
are now forging that, forever relationship with their person. But, we need to get that critical mass going. So, I would encourage anybody who is hearing this to share it with people who they know who are serious about relationships and looking for a serious relationship. There's no barriers to getting on there. I mean, like I said, it's free. You get your first match for free. You get access to 100% of the features. You can be as aggressive or as passive as you'd like. You can set up a profile and wait for people to stop by and send you match requests, or you can actively, start looking for people to send your match request to. So, there's no ongoing cost, because it's a subscription system, a credit-based system, where you can buy a 3-pack of credit, and those 3 credits might last you 5 months. Those 3 credits might last you 2 weeks. It just depends on how aggressive you want to be, in terms of matching with people. So, there's no ongoing expense, no ongoing subscription. No, you buy the credits as you think you need them. So no, I would encourage anybody who's hearing this, Tiffany, to A, join the site, B, tell their friends who are serious about finding that relationship to get on the site, especially if they've been on other dating sites. There's no downside to it. There's absolutely zero downside to it. And you just never know. Your guy might be out there. My lady might be out there. Everybody's person might be out there.
Well, thank you so much, Jeremy, for sharing with us today. And you just given us such insight, even just talking about the intentional approach to dating, because that is so important, even in this day and time, that we are intentional. If the listeners wanted to find out more about you, share with them how they could get in touch with you.
The fastest way to do it is to go to the website, marryingamerica.com. All the social media links are on the website. I would encourage them to join. It takes 5 minutes to join. Well, less than that. It takes a minute to join. Setting up a profile takes a little bit longer, just depending on how thorough and detailed you want to be. But it takes 10 to 15 minutes. To get on there, and be available for the world to stop by and see what what you have to offer. So the easiest way to do it is just visit marryingamerica.com, and check out the social media links on the page and join.
Awesome.
And tell your friends to join. Yeah, that's what it's going to be. Tell your friends to join.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. So listeners, we'll also have that link in the show notes. So you're able to go over to that as well and get directly to him and check out what they're doing at marrying.com. Is it marrying.com? Is it?
Marryingamerica.com.
Marryingamerica.com. So check out what they're doing at marryingamerica.com. And listeners, we thank you for listening in and being a part of the podcast day. And we look forward to having you again next time. God bless. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Tasty Tidbits. If you're enjoying the show, feel free to subscribe, rate, and share with your friends. To learn more about Dr. Tiffany, check her out on Linktree at dr.tiffanywatkins or visit her website, iridescencebytiffany.com. Until next time, stay blessed.